3 days after my car fell off a mountain road, my wife signed my death certificate. The problem was, I was still alive, and when I finally returned home, I found another man sleeping in my bed, wearing my clothes, raising my son, and living under my name. Before we start, subscribe if you enjoy emotional betrayal and revenge stories. And comment below, what would you do if someone stole your entire life? My name is Daniel Mercer. I was 38 years old, married, and had a 7-year-old son named Noah. I built a private identity security company. My work was protecting wealthy clients from fraud, forged documents, and stolen identities. I spent years helping people stop others from stealing their lives. I never imagined my own life would be stolen, and not by strangers, by my own family. My wife, Leah, and I had been married for 11 years. We weren't a perfect couple, but I believed we were strong enough to survive anything. At least, that's what I thought. Over the last year, Leah had changed. She became emotionally distant. She wasn't angry or aggressive. In some ways, that would have been easier to understand. Instead, she became polite, cold, careful, controlled politeness, like I was no longer her husband but a guest living in the same house. At dinner, she barely looked at me. At night, she turned away in bed. Whenever I asked if something was wrong, she gave me the same answer. Nothing, Daniel. I'm just tired. Tired. That single word became a wall between us. Then there was my younger brother, Ethan. Ethan was the type of person everyone liked within 5 minutes. Funny, charming, confident. But beneath that charm was a dangerous weakness. He always wanted shortcuts. He hated discipline and responsibility. He constantly made terrible financial decisions and somehow expected everyone else to fix them, usually me, and my mother always defended him. He just needs support, she would say. Support usually meant my money again. I helped because he was family. That was my mistake. Everything started changing after one Sunday dinner at my mother's house. At first it felt normal. Leah was quiet as usual. Ethan was joking around. Mom served food and acted cheerful. Then the conversation took a strange turn. Mom started asking unusual questions. Questions about my company, about legal, ownership, about insurance, about inheritance. At first, I laughed. Then I stopped. She looked directly at me and asked, Daniel, if something happened to you, who would control your company? The room suddenly felt colder. I frowned. Why are you asking that? She smiled too quickly. Oh, nothing. Just curiosity. I looked at Leah. She lowered her eyes. I looked at Ethan. He avoided eye contact. That was the first red flag. The second came 2 weeks later. I woke up around 2 a.m. and reached toward Leah's side of the bed. Empty tot. I sat up. Then I heard voices downstairs, quiet voices, whispering. I walked toward the staircase as silently as possible. As I got closer, I recognized the voices, Leah and Ethan. My heartbeat slowed in a strange way. Not calm, danger. I heard Leah say, He's becoming suspicious, Ethan replied. Then we need to move faster. Every muscle in my body froze. Move faster. About what? I stepped closer. The wooden floor creaked beneath my foot. Silence. Instant silence. Leah turned and saw me. Her face changed. Shock, fear, then control. She walked toward me. Why are you awake? I looked past her. Ethan sat in darkness, leaning back in his chair, smiling. That smile bothered me. It wasn't friendly. It looked like confidence, like he already knew something I didn't. I forced myself to stay calm. What are you two talking about? Leah answered too quickly. Nothing important. Ethan stood and stretched. Just helping your wife with something. I stared at him. At 2 a.m. He smirked. You know me. I barely sleep. I didn't believe either of them, but I had no proof. 3 days later, I needed to visit a client in a remote mountain area. It was a long drive, and the weather was terrible. Rain hammered the windshield. Visibility was poor. As I prepared to leave, Leah hugged me. That alone surprised me because she had barely touched me in months. But what disturbed me wasn't the hug. It was how long she held on, like she was saying goodbye, not as a wife sending her husband to work, as someone seeing a person for the last time. When she pulled away, she looked into my eyes and said, "Drive safely." Her voice sounded strange, almost emotional. I drove into the mountains with an uneasy feeling I couldn't explain. About 2 hours later, it happened. I pressed the brake pedal, approaching a dangerous curve. Nothing happened. I pressed harder, still nothing. My blood turned cold. The brakes had failed completely. The car accelerated downhill, rain blurred. Everything. I gripped the steering wheel with both hands. My breathing became sharp. No. I pumped the brakes repeatedly. Nothing. The guardrail rushed closer. I tried. Turning, the tires slipped. Then impact metal. Screamed, glass shattered. The guardrail broken. My car went over the edge. The world flipped upside down. Sky, rock, glass, darkness, pain. Then nothing. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't dead. I was lying inside an old wooden cabin. My body burned with pain. An old man sat beside me, grey beard, weathered face, calm eyes. He handed me water. "You're lucky," he said. Struggled to speak. "What happened?" He sighed. "I found your car below the cliff. You were thrown out before it exploded." My chest tightened. "How long?" 3 days. 3 days. I forced myself upright despite the pain. "I need my phone." He looked uncomfortable. "It was destroyed." "TV?" He pointed toward a small television in the corner. I turned it on, and my world ended. A news report filled the screen. A photo of me appeared. Under it were the words, "Local business owner Daniel Mercer confirmed dead after mountain accident." Then they showed footage of my funeral. Leah was there. My mother, Ethan, all dressed in black, all crying, but something felt wrong. Leah wasn't grieving. She looked composed, controlled, almost relieved. Then the camera moved, and I saw something that made my blood freeze. Ethan was holding my son's hand, not like an uncle, like a father, and Noah looked comfortable with him, too comfortable. Then the reporter said something that changed everything. "Daniel, Mercer's brother, Ethan Mercer, will temporarily manage Mercer Identity Security until ownership transfer is completed." Ownership transfer. My mind raced. No way. Then I remembered the questions, the whispers, the failed brakes. This wasn't an accident. Someone planned this. And suddenly I understood something horrifying. My family didn't just think I was dead. They wanted me dead. And somehow they were ready to take everything. My company, my son, my home, my identity. I stared at the screen in disbelief. Then the old man quietly said, "Son, there's something else you should know." I slowly turned toward him. "What?" His expression darkened. "Yesterday, I saw your wife." My heart stopped. "What do you mean?" He looked me directly in the eyes. "She wasn't mourning," he swallowed. "She was with another man." I felt ice in my veins. "Who?" The old man answered with one sentence that shattered me. "Your brother." I stared at the old man, convinced I had heard him wrong. "My brother?" He nodded. "I saw them at a gas station near town. They were in the same car. She didn't look like a widow." I felt sick. No, there had to be another explanation. Even after everything, part of me still wanted to believe there was one. Maybe Leah was broken and Ethan was supporting her. Maybe the brake failure was just an accident. Maybe my mind was connecting things that weren't connected. But deep down, I already knew. Too many pieces fit together. I clenched my fists. "I need to go home." The old man shook his head. "You can barely stand." "I don't care." "You should care," he said firmly. "If someone tried to kill you once, they can do it again." His words hit hard. He was right. If this was planned, showing up alive without proof would be suicide. I forced myself to think clearly. For the first time in my life, emotion had to wait. Logic first. I asked the old man if I could borrow a phone. I called the only person I trusted. Outside my family, Maya Collins, my company's head of cybersecurity. Brilliant, quiet, loyal. She answered on the second ring. "Hello." Maya, silence. Then no breathing, no movement, nothing. Finally she whispered, "Daniel?" "It's me." Her voice cracked. "That's impossible." I'm alive, she inhaled sharply. Oh my God. Maya, listen carefully. Don't react. Don't tell anyone. Her voice became serious immediately. What happened? I think someone tried to kill me. Silence again. Then she said something unexpected. I knew something was wrong. My heart pounded. What do you mean? After your death, Ethan came to the office with legal documents granting temporary authority over the company. That's public knowledge. Yes, she said. But that's not the strange part. My stomach tightened. What is it? He's been accessing restricted vaults. Cold fear spread through me. What vaults? The Black Archives. I stopped. Breathing for a second, the Black Archives were the most sensitive part of my company. Encrypted files, identity records, biometric, verification systems, access protocols. If someone controlled that system, they could erase identities, create identities, replace identities, destroy lives. I whispered, has he accessed my files? Maya hesitated. Yes, I felt dizzy. Why? Why would Ethan need my identity files? Then a terrifying possibility formed, not just stealing my company, not just taking my money, something bigger, much bigger. Maya, I said, I need access to my backup server. I can help. No digital trace? Understood. I trusted Maya because she never panicked. She solved problems. That's why my next question mattered. Maya, be honest. Who else is involved? She went quiet. Too quiet. Maya. Then she said it. Your mother visited the office yesterday. I closed my eyes. Of course. Mom too, I wanted to scream. Instead, I asked calmly, anything else? Yes. Her voice dropped. There's a new man at the office. What man? He looks like you. The cabin felt silent, too silent. What? He's wearing your suits, using your office, talking like he belongs there. I gripped the phone so hard my hand hurt. No, that wasn't possible, Maya continued. At first I thought he was just a consultant. Then Ethan introduced him. My throat tightened. As who? She answered. As Daniel Mercer. Everything inside me stopped. I couldn't speak. I couldn't think. Someone was impersonating me. Using my identity, my company, my life. This wasn't greed, this was replacement, total replacement. They didn't just want me gone, they wanted a version of me they could control. I whispered, who is he? I don't know. But there's something strange. What? He knows things only insiders should know. That made it worse. Information leak, long-term planning. This had been going on for months. Maybe years. I suddenly remembered something from 8 months ago. Leah insisted on updating our family biometric scans. She said it was for a school security project for Noah. Face scans, voice samples, fingerprints. At the time, it felt harmless. Now, it felt horrifying. They had collected my data, every piece, every detail. My breathing became unstable. Maya spoke again. Daniel, there's more. I almost didn't want to hear it. What? Your son? Fear surged through me. What about Noah? He's calling Ethan Dad. My vision blurred. No, I'm sorry. No. He did it in front of everyone. My chest burned. Noah adored me. He would never just replace me unless someone told him something cruel, something manipulative. What did they tell him? Maya's voice softened. I heard Leah say this. I waited. She told Noah his real father abandoned him years ago. My blood turned to ice. What? She said you weren't his biological father. Silence, then came the final knife. She said Ethan is. The phone nearly slipped from my hand. Impossible. Noah was my son. I knew that. I was there. I held him at birth. I raised him. Then another memory surfaced. Hospital paperwork. Complications during birth. Leah handling documents. My head spun. No. Was she lying to manipulate Noah? Or was there something I never knew? My whole marriage began replaying in fragments. Leah's distance, Ethan's confidence, Mom's behavior, questions, documents, secrets. I felt like my entire life had been built on hidden cracks. Then Maya said something that changed everything. "Daniel, I sent you something." My borrowed phone vibrated. An encrypted file, video footage, office security camera timestamp today. I opened it. My office appeared on screen. Ethan stood beside the fake Daniel. Then Leah walked in. She smiled, not sadly, not nervously, warmly, lovingly. She touched the fake man's shoulder. Then she kissed him. Not a quick kiss, a familiar kiss, like lovers, like this wasn't new. My stomach dropped. I felt numb. Then Ethan laughed and said something. The video had audio. I turned volume up. Ethan grinned. "Relax. In a few weeks, nobody will remember the original." The fake Daniel smirked. Leah smiled. Then she said the words that destroyed what remained of my heart. Daniel was always too trusting. She laughed softly. That's why replacing him was so easy. I froze. Replacing him, not killing. Replacing. This had always been the plan. Not murder for money, identity takeover. My entire existence. Copied. Deleted. Rewritten. I stared at the screen. Then the fake Daniel spoke, and the moment I heard his voice, I recognized him. Not from family, not from friends. From somewhere else, somewhere buried in memory. Then it hit me. I knew exactly who he was, and the realization terrified me because the man wearing my face was someone I thought had died 10 years ago. I replayed the video 3 times. Each time, the same cold feeling crawled deeper into my chest. I knew that face. Not because he looked like me, because I had seen him before 10 years ago. His name was Adrian Cole, and he should have been dead. Back then, my company was still small. I had taken a private contract involving digital identity fraud. Adrian was the center of that case. He was brilliant, dangerously brilliant, a specialist in forged identities, biometric manipulation, and psychological impersonation. He didn't just steal documents. He studied people, their habits, their tone, their posture. He could become someone else so completely that even close relatives struggled to notice. That case ended in a warehouse fire. Police concluded Adrian died in the fire. No body was recovered, but the case was closed. I never believed it fully. Now I knew. He survived, and somehow my family found him, or worse, he found them. I called Maya again. "That man is Adrian Cole." She went silent. "The Adrian Cole." "Yes." Her breathing sharpened. "That's impossible." "No, it's not." A horrible thought struck me. Adrian couldn't have pulled this off alone. To replace me completely, he needed access to years of private data, daily routines, medical records, voice patterns, family behavior. Someone had fed him everything. Leah. Ethan, Mom. This wasn't sudden betrayal. This was long-term planning. I felt sick thinking about how far back it might go. Then another memory surfaced. About a year ago, Leah became strangely interested in my work. She asked about biometric systems, voice cloning, identity reconstruction. I thought she was curious. I even explained things to her. God, I helped them. I handed them knowledge that would destroy me. I slammed my fist into the cabin wall. The old man looked at me but said nothing. Maya broke the silence. "What do we do?" For a moment, rage took over. I wanted to go home, expose them, drag them all down, but anger without evidence would fail. Adrian specialized in deception. If I attacked too early, I'd lose everything. No, I needed proof. I needed to understand one thing first. Why money wasn't enough to explain this. My company was profitable, yes, but this operation required insane planning. Why replace me completely? Then Maya said, "Daniel, there's a file you need to see." "What file?" "One Ethan downloaded from your private archive." She sent it, password protected. I knew the password. I opened it. The file name was Project Second Life. My blood ran cold. That name meant nothing to me. I opened the documents, page after page, financial transfers, encrypted notes, behavioral training. Medical procedures, Adrian's facial reconstruction progress, voice replication metrics, psychological conditioning. This was beyond fraud. This was manufacturing a new Daniel Mercer. Then I reached the final page, and everything changed. There was a signed agreement. Participants: Leah Mercer, Ethan Mercer, Margaret Mercer, Adrian Cole, and one more name. I stopped breathing. Noah Mercer. No, 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 no. My son? Impossible. He was 7. How could he be involved? Hands shaking, I read further. Then I understood. Not a participant, a subject. There was a note under his name. Biological truth withheld until replacement phase completed. I felt dizzy. Biological truth? No. Please, no. I kept reading. Then came DNA records. 2 names compared: Noah Mercer, Daniel Mercer. Result: paternal mismatch. The world went silent. I couldn't hear anything. Noah wasn't my biological son. I couldn't breathe. No. This had to be fake, manipulated, forged. I scrolled further. Another DNA comparison. Noah Mercer, Ethan Mercer. Result: 99% paternal probability. My legs gave out. I collapsed to the floor. Ethan, my brother, Noah's father. My mind shattered. Flashbacks hit like bullets. Ethan being unusually attached to Noah as a baby. Mom constantly saying Noah looked like Ethan. Leah becoming defensive whenever I joked about it. All those moments I ignored, all those signs. The truth had been in front of me for years. My wife had betrayed me with my brother, and my mother knew. Not only knew, she protected them. I covered my face. I couldn't cry. The pain was too deep for tears. 11 years of marriage, all fake. Was any of it real? Then I saw one final audio file attached. I pressed play. Leah's voice, private recording, probably never meant for me. Leah sounded calm, cold, clinical. I never hated Daniel. My chest tightened. She continued, "He's a good man." That was the problem. Ethan laughed in the recording. What problem? Leah answered. He trusts too easily. Good men make perfect shields. I felt sick. Then she said the words that destroyed everything. I chose Daniel because he was stable, disciplined, and ambitious. He could build the life Ethan never could. Silence. Then, when Daniel built enough, we would take over. I stopped breathing. No. This marriage was planned from the beginning. She married me as an investment. Ethan spoke next. So you never loved him? Leah paused, then answered. Love? She laughed softly. I loved what he could build for us. Us. Not me and her. Her and Ethan. All these years, I was never the husband. I was the builder, the provider, the placeholder, the sacrifice. Then Mom's voice entered the recording. You both owe Daniel gratitude. Gratitude, she continued. He was the only son capable of creating this empire. Ethan was always meant to inherit it. I felt something inside me die. My mother, my own mother. She chose him, not because he earned it, because she decided. I was just labor, the successful son who existed to build wealth for the favorite child. That realization hurt more than Leah, more than Ethan, because mothers are supposed to protect. Mine sold me. Then Adrian spoke for the first time in the recording. His voice was calm, precise. Beautiful. They built a fake Daniel. My jaw tightened. I'm going to destroy every identity they have. Then my phone buzzed. New notification, live security. Alert from my home system. Camera activated. I opened the feed. Leah, Ethan, Adrian. Mom, all in my living room celebrating, champagne, laughing. Then Noah walked in. He looked directly at Adrian and said one sentence that made my blood freeze. Dad. Who is the man in the hidden basement? The room went silent after Noah's question. Champagne glasses froze in midair. Leah turned pale. Ethan's smile vanished. Adrian slowly looked at Noah. What did you say? Noah pointed toward the floor. The basement. There's a man there. My heart started pounding. A man. Hidden in my basement? That basement was a secured room beneath my house. Almost nobody knew about it. Why would someone be there? Adrian grabbed Noah's shoulders. Who showed you? Noah looked scared. I heard noises. Mom suddenly shouted, "Turn off all cameras!" The live feed cut dark screen, but I had seen enough. Something was hidden in that basement. Something important. I called Maya. I need access to the house backup servers. She worked fast. After a few seconds, hidden camera footage loaded. Basement footage. Then I saw him, a man chained to a chair, weak, bearded, barely conscious. Moved closer to the screen. Then my blood ran cold. The prisoner looked exactly like Adrian. I froze. Impossible. If Adrian was upstairs, then who was downstairs? The chained man lifted his head and whispered toward the camera, "Daniel, if you're alive, run." I stared in shock. The man in my house, the one pretending to be Adrian upstairs, was someone else, which meant one terrifying thing. I'd been wrong. Adrian wasn't the villain controlling everything. He was a prisoner. Someone else was behind all of this. Then the chained Adrian said one final sentence before collapsing. The real mastermind. He coughed. "Is your wife." My entire body went cold. Leah, not Ethan, not Mom Leah. She had played everyone, and now the war had truly begun. Leah, the name echoed in my head. All this time, I thought Ethan was the mastermind. I was wrong. Leah had manipulated everyone. Ethan's greed, Mom's favoritism, Adrian's skills. She used them all, but now I had something. Stronger proof. With Maya's help, I sent every recording, every file, and every confession to law enforcement, my company board, and all major clients. Then I went home, this time prepared. When I entered the house, everyone froze. Leah dropped her glass. Ethan turned white. Mom nearly collapsed. Noah stared at me with wide eyes. "Dad." That one word shattered Ethan completely. Leah recovered first. Impossible even then. She smiled. Calm, dangerous. "I knew you'd survive." I stared at her. "You planned everything from the beginning." She shrugged. "Yes. No denial, no shame, just truth. You were useful." "Danielle." "Smart, hard-working, predictable," Ethan shouted. "Leah, stop talking!" She ignored him. Then she looked at Ethan with disgust. "You really thought I loved you?" Ethan froze. "What?" Leah laughed. "You were easy to control," Mom whispered, horrified. "You used my son." Leah smiled coldly. "I used all of you." Even Ethan looked broken now. Then police sirens filled the air. Leah finally lost her calm. She looked at me, and for the first time, anger, real anger. "You ruined everything." I stepped closer. "No." Leah, I looked directly into her eyes. "You did." Police entered. Ethan collapsed crying. Mom begged. Leah stayed silent as she was handcuffed. Then Noah ran toward me. He hugged me tightly. "Dad." "You came back." Tears finally came. I held him. "No one will take me from you again." Months later, the truth became public. Leah had spent years planning the takeover. She trusted not even her partners. She recorded everyone as insurance. That became her downfall. Ethan went to prison. Mom died alone, abandoned by the son she protected. Leah received the longest sentence, and Noam. I raised him because blood doesn't decide fatherhood, love does. But 6 months later, I received one envelope, no sender. Inside was a single photo, a photo of me, taken yesterday from a distance. On the back, only 5 words were written. "You missed one player, Daniel." At the bottom, one signature, Adrian Cole. He was still alive and watching. If this story shocked you, like, subscribe, and comment who betrayed Daniel the most, Leah, Ethan, or Mom.